民共和国中央人民政府今天成立了。
但是你们能不能？
刚才也问我，我可以回半点去，无可奉告。你们也不高兴。
哎，什么叫中国共产党啊？党叫干啥就干啥。
黑夜即将到，一定要做好准备。
但是。
干死共产党！不干死共产党，绝不罢休！
消灭中共是正义的需要。
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Exposing the CCP. Good to see you again. So today we're going to discuss some interesting topics further to expose the truth of the CCP with Mr. Truth and also Chris. So good to see you. Hi, Mr. Truth.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Zee, Chris. Good to see you guys again. Let's expose the CCP and take down the CCP. Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome, Chris.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be on the show again today. Thank you.
Excellent. So, we're all very familiar faces, hopefully, to our audiences. And today we're going to discuss two mainly topics. First one is about the CCP's initiative, One Belt, One Road. What does that mean? So, a lot of people have been ignored that because they don't know really exactly what the CCP's goal is, and we're going to use Miles Guo's video and we're going to discuss about it. The second one is something related to almost everybody's life. It's our health and what's going on with the CCP virus, what's going on with the vaccine, any updates, what shall we do, is there anything we should be concerned with? We're going to discuss about that. So let's watch the first video and we'll be right back.
被共产党骗的有多深，和蓝金黄有多深，战友们你都难以想象。那你像全世界绝大多数正常的人呢，你们花了5年来了解，你都整不明白，你何况他们呢？这个俄罗斯和伊朗干啥？中共不是使坏，中共是老大，截掉你能源。第二个建立什么叫金砖？所谓金砖国，还有一带一路沿线国，人民币国际化、数字化人民币。反对美元，干掉美元。伊朗100%与美国为敌。沙特人民币石油化已经好几年了。现在这次拜登去给他说，你给我供应油，我美国需要油，很便宜的啊，10几美金一桶，供应啊。人民币国际化停不了，已经跟中共签合同了。沙特在美国得到的不是钱，是武器，美国不给他钱，给他武器，大量的换成中共的武器。阿曼两边吃，美国、中共。科威特完全美国替他打的战争，伊拉克两边吃。UAE 跟中共的经济 GDP 已经是从当初的30亿，现在变成了1000多亿，快2000亿美元了。叙利亚100%中共国，约旦100%跟中共， 巴基斯坦就中共养的一个完全这个要饭的醉鬼，伊朗的这还用说吗？所有都被中共捏着呢。是中共让普京去伊朗，哈美内伊和普京见面得提前经得习同意，这是一个金砖国家“一带一路”和邪恶轴心五国是中国共产党安排的。这是一个以人民币国际化、数字化人民币垄断亚中世界石油交通网络和整个东欧、马六甲、亚洲，还有非洲、东非，包括安哥拉，整个石油，整个是对抗西方、美国、欧洲，掐住欧洲的气和石油，干掉美国的美元，让美国物价经济混乱，配合3F 方案的一大块。而且美国、以色列一定会以伊朗行动。普京告诉伊朗要打你，咱们怎么办？土耳其的经济已经崩溃了，埃尔多安，咱们怎么办？然后普京也知道乌克兰是美国跟欧洲跟我出来，咱仨咋办？中国经济支持、物质支持、人民币支持，咱们军事上怎么办？那就是对抗、开战。
So again, from this Miles video, you can see that, everything what's happening in the world has been predicted by Miles. Why? Because that's intelligence from the CCP. Miles know a lot about it because there are many NFC supporters also inside of that. So, okay, I'm going to skip this one and go to Mr. Truth. Go to Chris this time. So, Chris, what do you think of, Miles' kind of forecast, but he's very affirmative of that. What do you think of the One Belt, One Road?
Well, like if people search what Mr. Miles Guo said before, you can find like several videos of him talking about the One Belt, One Road initiative, and there are 148 countries participating in the Belt and Road initiative. This shows how deeply the Chinese Communist Party has infiltrated the world. This does not even include countries that are not part of the Belt and Road initiative, but have still been infiltrated by the CCP. And the Belt and Road initiative appears to be about economic and infrastructure cooperations, but in reality, beyond money laundering, profit transfer, and political expansions, it also served the strategic goal of global military deployment. Its fundamental purpose is to weaken the dominance of the euro and the US dollar, thereby controlling global energy resources. So One Belt, One Road initiative is not that simple. And also that along the countries accepting Chinese loans, some are required to agree to the establishment of Chinese military base locally, such as Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. Along the entire Malacca Strait, Chinese military outposts are nearly ubiquitous, extending as far as Cuba. And directly across from Cuba lies the United States' most critical submarine base, with the Bahama nearby. The Chinese Communist Party's infiltration in Eastern and Western Europe primarily involve espionage and economic warfare. In Nigeria, Tanzania, and Azerbaijan, the Belt and Road facilities built by the CCP are all primarily aimed at military deployment. In these regions, the CCP has established a comprehensive military deployment chain across air, sea, and land, coordinate with submarine forces and air force operations, forming a three-dimensional strategic network. Ultimately, the only ones who truly benefit from the Belt and Road initiative are the decision makers of the countries that sign agreement with the CCP. However, those who are betrayed are the signatory countries and their citizens. So President Trump's recent tariff policies are precisely aimed at countering back Belt and Road Initiative, using tariffs to pressure these countries into turning away from and abandoning the Belt and Road Initiative. For example, in Brazil, Wang Qishan and Xi Jinping have infiltrated President Lula, prosecuting the pro-American former president Bolsonaro. So President Trump specifically wrote a letter demanding an end to the persecution of Bolsonaro and is using tariff as a tool to help Brazil eliminate the toxin of communism. And that's how I think, and that's the information we can get from previous Mr. Miles Guo's video. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your opinions. It's very important. Hopefully the world need to listen more to voices from Miles Guo, because he really knows about the CCP and the tactics they're trying to do and how to take them down. So hopefully his case is going to make a big improvement in the next couple of months. Okay, now go to Mr. Truth. And we're all familiar with Miles Guo. And could you elaborate a little bit more on Miles Guo and One Belt, One Road from the CCP? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. What you said is absolutely true. That's what Miles Guo, broadcasted over the last 7 years. We hear from time to time, and when he start drilling into this topic. But essentially, what we see is the CCP using all the blood sweat factories export revenues. And stop that at the overseas exchange as the hard currency. In the same time, exploit the Chinese neighbor inside China and pay them chicken feed, and now that is falling down. With the Trump's tariff rapidly. So what happens once they get the money and they build this so-called One Belt Road stretching different part of the continent altogether, and the purpose of which is to positioning the military deployment into the ground as well as along about the space, and also use BGY to control the president of the countries and corrupt them. So they are willing to work with them together, and you can see the enormous ports being employed as well. But I think the Trump's tariff initially we think is just a trade issues, but it's not. By writing tariff, it sort of forces the countries trading with the United States among each other that if you not abide by the rule of the set up by the tariff, what happens? We're going to charge you the same tariff, or we're going to have a double up the tariff. No country can stand, not trading with the United States. That's in one side. Another side is, as Chris said, when the One Belt, One Road, when they go into the Hormuz trade, and it's essentially for control the oil. So what's the control oil in one side is supply into the CCP's very high energy consumption inside the Chinese population, in the second world largest economy. But in the same time, not only for that, they abandon the US petrol dollar. So in other words, immediately shrinking the global share of the US dollars in the global trade by eliminating it from the oil trading. So, and at the same time, rising up for the digitized RMB or the RMB digitization using as trade currencies among the Belt Road countries. And the purpose of that ultimately is to take down the US dollars. And that's another big threat. Think about that. Those Belt Road actually, their amount, more than half the world's GDP economy. So it cannot be unlocked. So I think Trump, Peter Lavallo, the teams are doing great job. And that is taking down the CCP. So, of course, a lot of strategies, as Chris just presented, is more or less what Miles Gore have said about that, at least before 2020. Okay, we hear about that until 2 years ago, before Miles been detained. So this is what the picture is. Miles Gore with his intel, okay, deeply connections into the intelligence in China, which we know the Chinese government is not all one show. They have different lines of intelligence. I think a lot of people don't want the CCP, Xi Jinping, to be continuing to fight with the United States, then thereby deteriorating the economy. But I don't think Iran is gone, and there's Russia. So now the Russia and the U.S. is heavily involved in a negotiation to stop the war. Once that happens, the U.S. and the CCP will lose its backup from Russia. Then I think then Xi Jinping and the CCP will be one point show. All the rest of the countries are all surrendered, I can say, apart from the BRICS. The BRICS is pretty tough too, but they're trying to use the gold-backed reserves to trade, but I don't think they will be all together because each of them have its own agenda. We see in the end, I think the world will aligned with a trade which is more fair and will benefit the people rather than those dictatorship. So that's what I can see from the information so far. Back to you, Zee. Thank you.
Thank you very much for elaborating more. I think this is very important information to understand how the CCP works, how the infiltration really is inside of the Western world and also Middle East everywhere almost. And we got to pay more attention and take them down, hopefully with stronger tactics. Okay, now let's go to the next topic and look at what's happening around the world with all these medical concerns and all these diseases and something. And yeah, please.
CDC to issue a travel warning. More than 7,000 cases of this disease have been reported so far. State Department correspondent Jillian Turner has details tonight, live from the State Department. Good evening, Jillian.
Good evening, Brett. The CDC, as you mentioned, is warning Americans traveling to China about chikungunya. It is a virus that spreads to humans through infected mosquito bites. It can cause severe illness with symptoms that mimic pretty closely dengue fever and Zika virus, mostly found in Africa. Here's what the CDC says about it. They say most people infected get better within a week. However, some can have severe joint pain for months to years. Other symptoms include severe fever and fatigue. The outbreak now is in the Chinese province Guangdong. It's near Hong Kong, with more than 7,000 cases reported so far, prompting some pretty dramatic measures to contain the spread, like mandatory insect repellent blasts for people entering the area, mandatory property checks for stagnant water, which attracts mosquitoes, and when found is now punishable by fines or even arrest.
If you happen to get this, they're quarantining you in hospitals with mosquito netting and not letting you out for a week. These are the kind of draconian responses we saw with COVID. We're seeing it again.
The CDC says Americans traveling to 8 other countries are also at elevated risk of exposure to the virus, even if there is no current outbreak there. People at risk for more severe cases of chikungunya include newborns, seniors 65 years and up, as well as people with diabetes or heart disease. Now, the good news is that unlike COVID, deaths from this disease are exceedingly rare. You can also protect yourself by getting vaccinated against it or by preventing mosquito bites in the first place through all the usual mechanisms, insect repellent, netting, wearing long sleeves, and staying in air conditioning. Brett?
Jillian Turner, live at the State Department. Jillian, thank you.
There's increasing concern over the biosafety. You know, we have been knowing that the Chinese Communist Party has been collaborating with a lot of Western institutes to work on so-called innovative mRNA technologies and bioweapon viruses, etc. We don't know if it is associated with that, but the more concerning part, the last piece of information, they're trying to sell vaccines to the audiences, and don't take on that. And most importantly, you gotta be protective yourself, and then boost your own your immune system. That's probably a more feasible way instead of taking the unknown again, vaccine shots or whatsoever. Okay, let's go to Chris. So Chris, what do you think? This outbreak, is that could be another CCP virus outbreak?
Yeah, I think this is the old tricks from the CCP, but this time it won't work. The video mentioned that vaccine can prevent chikungunya, which is a lie. The traders within the CDC are once again colluding with the CCP. Despite Minister Kennedy's wishes, the CDC is again prompting deadly vaccines. And also Fox News again, they are prompting vaccines too, which I think people shouldn't even consider to take it because it's poisoned. And then the CCP creates panic by releasing new viruses using the same control tactics as with the COVID-19 virus. Back then, the CCP released the virus to suppress the Hong Kong anti-extradition protest, as they feared the protest would spread to the mainland. 6 years later, the CCP wants to repeat its old tactics. China's economic is now in severe decline. Birth rates are falling, the population is aging, shops are closing, factories are shutting down, and flood persists. Cash withdrawals are restricted, and public discontent is rising. Additionally, there is the bullying incident in Jiangyou, Sichuan, where the perpetrator's parents is the deputy secretary of the Jiangyou City Party Committee, and the victim's mother is a deaf-mute person, the handicapped person. The Chinese people's dissatisfaction with the CCP is steadily growing. So Chinese people are starting to take to the street to protest against the CCP. There's a saying in China, a single spark can start a prairie fire. The CCP fears the Chinese people protesting on the street and fighting for human rights. A such event could ignite the fuse for the Chinese people to overthrow the CCP. Therefore, the CCP has once again choose to release a virus, this time the chikungunya, with the real goal of keeping people at home to prevent them from joining protests. Additionally, through measures like disinfection and insecticides, they are poisoning the populations. The insecticide used for disinfections are harmful to human health. By poisoning people's health with these insecticides, the CCP aimed to weaken the population's will to resist. But this time, I don't think the CCP old tactics will work, because more and more people don't believe in taking the vaccine. So the vaccine rate is declining, and so if the economics keeps declining in China, we will see more protests on the street. Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, used to be for the medical field, but now it's used by totalitarian regime to control their own people. So yeah. What a pathetic scientific failure. But anyway, I think still have hope for science, and we're gonna make more better products in the future after we fixing the CCP. Okay, now we go to Mr. Truth.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chris, for your information. But what I want to add in Hualan University in Guangdong province, where the chikungunya virus is, actually that researcher, medical researcher and professor who is specialized in creating mosquitoes. And those mosquitoes, I watched the video, they have a procedure how to massively produces by rolling the eggs into some wet area. Then it's like a very scientific experiment in a large scale, and they make that virus. They of course they doing all kind of gene technology applied into the production of the mosquito, and then they release them intentionally to see what happens. I mean, this is what happens. It's like the Wuhan fish market hoaxes about the COVID-19's origins. Okay, so it's intentionally, whatever it is, it's intentionally released by the CCP's laboratory for making biological weapons in the form of mosquitoes. This is similar to what Bill Gates has been doing. They all have mosquito farms, and then they use that as a biological helicopter to bite human beings, and they massively spread the diseases of this spike protein compared with all gene technologies. So they're not that for good. They're just there to do that, to further weaken the population, make sure they don't start the revolution and take down the CCP and control the population and make the people feel hopeless. But they even create the name chikungunya. But I thought that's like a Japanese sound, and that's ridiculous. So it's not foreign. It's created by the lab, in the with the CDC of CCP. So I think the media should not be fooled. You should never, as Zee mentioned, you should never take in any vaccination for that, because that's just another poison for you permanently, where you cannot get rid of that too easily. So just refute all those things until it's laboratory tested, healthy, and it doesn't kill people. But obviously, it's already killed 7,000 people now. I think the number probably is more or less, probably more. Okay, let's see what happens. So, back to you.
All right, thank you. We're going to continue to monitor this and to see what's going on. So lastly, we're going to talk about the CCP virus vaccines side effect. And finally, more and more mainstream media are covering this, and hopefully people will suffer from the side effect can be cured later. Let's watch the video.
Where meta-analysis studies could be done. These are very comprehensive analysis, and it virtually came back consistently that there was no benefit to risk ratio for taking a messenger RNA vaccine. In fact, it was more dangerous to take a vaccine than it was to contract COVID-19 and be hospitalized with it. Now, we're now in 2022 that this data started to come out. The side effects for this, essentially gene therapy, was so enormous and progressive, it was difficult to fathom. And then finally, a few months ago, some of the detailed biochemistry studies started to appear in the literature. And this sudden flood of messenger RNA, it appears irrespective of what the messenger RNA insert is coding for. Just the sheer amount of number of millions of molecules of messenger RNA entering the cell is creating biochemical havoc.
Okay, welcome back. So now we have known this. The fundamental thing is this virus was created and released in Wuhan bio lab bioweapon lab. So if that's the case, if we don't understand what's inside, what's the artificial synthesis of this virus, and how can we use it as a template to develop a first time on the market mRNA vaccines. So that's the fundamental theory behind this. We should all have concerns. Now we know it's a reality, but let's think about a way to overcome this. Chris, what's your takeaway for this video?
Well, after I watched this video, I went to do some research, and I found out that so what is mRNA technology? So the video I found, it says that the mRNA technology is a protein nanoparticle technology. In the past, the vaccines were received, which were developed through decades of research and clinical trials, were protein-based. When injected into the arm, they stayed at the injection site and did not easily spread to other parts of the body. However, once encapsulated in nanoparticles, they enter the bloodstream, travel throughout the entire body, and become omnipresent, crossing the blood-brain barrier, entering the brain and reaching everywhere from head to toe and even the tip of the nails. They penetrate cells through the body and begin producing antigens, namely the spike protein. And we know the spike protein is the CCP virus, a man-made biochemical weapon and nanoparticles parasite created by the CCP. Then the spike protein starts causing damage in cells throughout the body. A healthy part of the body begin to deteriorate, and unhealthy part deteriorate even further. So if people want to find the reports, you can, the report I found is the cumulative analysis of post-marketing adverse event report for PF 07302048, which is the BNT 162B2 received as of February 28, 2021. And it shows that the mRNA vaccine is known to have over 1,200 side effects, including what is referred to as turbo cancer. So the documentary can be found on platforms like Getter, Rumble, and X. Just search for BNT 162B2. So injecting the mRNA vaccines into the body is like inviting a robber into your home, who then begins to wreak havoc. So that's how the poison vaccine works. So I encourage people, just don't take any vaccines because it never works. And even like the very old vaccines that people took, it cost decades for the experiment. But we know the COVID vaccines, they roll out in not even 1.5 years. So that's why people now are having cancers and the body health of the body is declining. Thank you.
Yeah, because it's such a new emerging technology, we actually don't know a lot of regarding the safety concerns. Without a valid clinical trial, and all these vaccines mRNA-based were rushed to the market. So we do need to revisit everything, make sure in the future we don't make the same mistakes again. Okay, now go to Mr. Truth.
Thank you, Chris, for your information. Okay, but I think we like to see from another angle, from the the globalist agenda, global population control. So this kind of research, the gain of function research, for example, has been, conducted for at least 2 decades, according to some documents, confirming, okay, there are a lot of different and know-how has been registered, and of course, finally, the CCP is so welcomed by them to take into gain of function research from Dr. Fauci, okay, the DCD director, and they're sent to the P4 lab of Wuhan. And the story was created to trying to confuse people, such as the bat lady from Zhoushan region, where in the eastern China. All those kind of stories is trying to make us not speak to smell out what they're doing. But of course, once they mastered the technology, they actually massively produced this COVID-19's vaccine and virus, and then intentionally released. I remember, I think it's a couple of days before, after the Chinese New Year in 2021. Okay. And we have people with the news that say that the lockdown taking place in Wuhan, where they allowed all the international fly to London, to Tokyo, okay, to all the capital cities of the rest of the world, but they wouldn't allow from Wuhan any domestic airplane flying to Beijing or Guangzhou. That's banned. So all the domestic flight is banned, except from Wuhan, where the people live is. They allowed all the people fly out of China, including Chinese and foreigners. And then, in about a week time, you see everywhere start reporting, wow, people get sick from those viruses and so on. And then, after 3 or 5 months, I don't know, roughly, the vaccination it's come to marketplace made by Pfizer, Moderna, and so on. And suddenly everyone have that. When you review the document, they actually, a few years ago, they already patented the vaccination too. Okay? See? Can you see that? So they need to patent that and make money. So one should be now already know is the intentional genocide for humanity. Okay? So it should be subject to Newport's trial. I think enormous scientific information. Also, Miles Gore's intel said very clearly it is a biological weapon from the CCP released out to the rest of the world to kill white, to kill Americans, and also, make Chinese people also weakened because they just reckon too many aging population. They don't have enough retirement fund. Okay, that's why they ask young people to pay more retirement fund. And of course, that's not going to happen. And the CCP is all behind. And of course, collaborated with those, whoever, you just track, whoever made money out of it. Okay, what technology they use it, and what are the big funds involved in the investment, and actually made the products of so-called jabs, vaccination in places. And how many people died, how many people are weakened, and you just say how many people is dying, and what business, for example, sector is the best, is the crematory, okay? And also the rose flowers have been sold more than any other times. That means the population, okay? So those statistics, I'm sure if you want to find out, any government should be able to find out. But we don't know whether they release the figures are good or not. But I think this is a global genocide, okay, planned by those, okay, whoever involved the benefits from it. And you remember, we cannot tell the truth to people. Our GTV, I think our Getter account and our X statement was shut down, and it was called the misinformation, disinformation. But the biggest disinformation, misinformation are the global, okay, the globalists who are really trying to control the world, control the population and trying to enslave everyone, but benefit from themselves. This is another angle. This is an open talk about the mouse score, talk about so many other Western doctors started talking about it and scientists. So it's a systematically coordinated action to reduce the population. But of course, the CCP is, they deliberately light out the fire, and the rest of that is a story. Back to you. See.
Excellent. Thank you very much for both of you contributing to this program today, and very exciting and knowledgeable discussions about this. And in the future, we do have to work very closely to understand everything, the safety, the truth, who's behind it. Hopefully, we're going to have a more transparent medical, government, political, economic process that everybody have an eye on it to audit it, and also make sure we're doing for good, not doing for evil. Okay, so it's a very, very, very exciting program today. Thank you very much for talking, and we'll give each of you a couple minutes to wrap up, and we can say bye. So first Chris, and then Mr. Truth. Chris first.
Well, I think that I don't know, I wish that the mainstream media will one day to start to report the truth, because right now we still cannot see the truth of the poisoned vaccines on mainstream media, because right now the Mr. Kennedy only makes the CDC to talk about the vaccines is poisoned by like aluminum, but they haven't turned the CDC into saying that the poison vaccine is a biological weapon. But I know that in the future it will be changed, but I really wish that that day can come sooner. Yeah, that's how I think. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's, thank you, Chris. Whoever committed, okay, the genocide against the humanity, okay, killing your own kind, they have committed a crime which is deserved to have a Nuremberg trial, and I think justice will be given, and we're going to see that very soon. Let's take down the CCP, evil CCP, and free mouse score. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take down the CCP. Bye.
Thank you.
他们的恐惧是我们的武器，我们的胜利。谢谢了，兄弟姐妹们，你们健身了吗？行动，行动，行动！中共，你完了 ！Take down the CCP！
But the games you want to play, bring it on and now we'll fight to the end. Just watch and see. It's all started, everything's begun, and you are over, 'cause we're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all life for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
你完了！干灭中国共产党这个 CCP， 才能让我们远离恐惧。Take down the CCP.
They try to scare corruption with crooked assumption. They ran our lives, but no more. We will win. We will take down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little
为
longer.
奴役的人们
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
完了！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take it down!
Let the bullets fly a little longer. Bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take it down!
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take it down!
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take it down!
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take it down!
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take it down!
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take it down!
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take it down!
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take it down!
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take it down!
The evil CCP.